Good morning, everyone. I'm Joe Bevilacqua from the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you to the Chamber's annual Veterans Assistance Day program. This is a very, very important program of the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce. We always want to recognize the men and women who have served and who are serving right now. We'd like to first welcome the Honor Guard from the Essex County Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Coppinger will be here shortly. So please welcome the Honor Guard from the Sheriff's Office who will come into the room. Please rise and then we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Elder, right? Honor guard. Halt. Peace.
Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Honor guard. Present.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Order. Right. Peace. Forward. March. Elder. Right. Elder.
Please give them a round of applause. Before we introduce our invited guests, we want to ask the chairman of our board, Michael Sullivan, who also served as the former mayor of the city of Lawrence. Our chairman, Sullivan, will give the greetings of the chamber. Chairman. Give us
Thank you, Joe, and welcome. And first of all, we want to thank all the veterans on this wonderful, wonderful day here at the Chamber of Commerce with family and friends. Just a couple of short announcements, and then we'll get on with the program. First of all, I want to welcome and thank people that serve on the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce. If you're on the board of directors, if you could raise your hand and just to be recognized. And how about a round of applause for these are people that volunteer hours of their time a week, and I believe it's because of their leadership that makes this chamber the great chamber that it is, as well as all of you being involved. I just have a quick update on the Picado family. As you all know, and we've named one of the awards after Johanny Picado, who was killed in the line of duty last August of 2021 in Afghanistan. And the family had purchased a single-family home in Lawrence back in the spring, and it was a fixer-upper. But through just a little quick letter by the Chamber of Commerce that went out to the participants, the response was just absolutely incredible. What we were looking for was people that could maybe help a little bit with some renovation or with a little bit of money that would go a long way for them for appliances and furniture and things like that. Well, to speed up the tape, with the goodwill of people throughout the state, the whole inside of the house has been completely gutted, and at this point, it's completely brought up to code. There's a company out of Boston called Lee Kennedy Construction that took the lead on this. They gutted the whole house. They've put everything in there: the electric, the plumbing, the flooring, the windows, all for free, to the tune of about $200,000 worth of renovation. And we're hoping the family should be moving in before the end of the month, and that's how far along we are. And also Jackson Lumber was an unbelievable local vendor that provided all the windows, the kitchen cabinets, the bathroom facilities, et cetera. And again, this was all for zero cost to the family. And I think that's a reflection of how great people in the United States are and how great this Chamber of Commerce is, because it really started right here through leadership of Joe and the team and all of you that came together. So today will be a wonderful morning. I want to thank all the leadership here and the people who are going to be receiving some of the awards, and especially, though, thank all the veterans. Thank you so much.
And again, we just want to say thank you to the family. When Michael and the committee get together with the family, the mother is torn. She's very, correct me if I'm wrong, but she's very, very thankful and very appreciative. But she looks to her side and she's very sad because her daughter's not there. And that's what war has done to our community. So we want to say thank you to everyone that helped contribute to the home rehabilitation. And obviously, I always ask you to remember not just the sergeant, but all veterans every day. I'd like to recognize some individuals that are here today. Sheriff Coppinger is now here. Welcome, Sheriff. Thank you for all your support. Senator Barry Feingold is here. Thank you, Barry. He's on his way to also pick up one of his kids. We also want to recognize, she is coming, Methuen City Councilor Eunice Ziegler will be here. And also former Representative Gary Kuhn is here. And Steve Vaughn from the office of Congressman Seth Moulton is here, our veteran caretaker. And we have representatives from the office of Senator Diana DeZoglu here as well. Thank you so much for being here. And we anticipate that Mayor DePena from the City of Lawrence will be attending as well. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to recognize our title sponsors and our sponsors. Again, we could not do these programs without sponsors, and they recognize the support that we have for veterans, and they want to say thank you. The title sponsor, Merrimack Valley Credit Union. Thank you to the Merrimack Valley Credit Union. Norwood Insurance, and we want to say thank you to Norwood Insurance, and they're also supporting the Run for the Troops 5K. And Bill Pennington is here. Bill, raise your hand. He's here in attendance with them today. Each year, Run for the Troops holds a 5K walk, run, and a community dinner and silent auction to honor their veterans. In addition, the funds these events raise awareness of the needs for our soldiers. So everyone has an opportunity to thank the veterans for the Run for the Troops dinner on November 11th or the walk on November 13th. And Bill is here if anyone has any questions, about that particular program. Thank you. We also want to recognize Bill Kelly from the Veterans Northeast Outreach Center. They work every day helping veterans, and you'll hear more about them. And we want to say thank you to all the veteran service agents and officers that are here today, because each and every day they serve our veterans and our veterans' family. Give them a round of applause. And we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Coastal Windows and Exteriors, Stephanie Vanderbilt of Coastal will say a few words about a special contribution they have made to a veteran. Please welcome Stephanie.
Thank you, Joe. I wrote this down because I know I need to make it short and sweet, so here we go. This Veterans Day, I want to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude for our veterans and their loved ones, and say welcome to everyone today that have served and to continue to serve. When our nation needed you most, you stepped up and served, and you continue to serve. Each of you have sacrificed so much to defend the freedoms that we as Americans hold so dear. For that, we are forever thankful, and we commemorate your service today and the service of heroic veterans who are no longer with us. We recommit ourselves to keeping the needs of every veteran and their families at the forefront for our continued mission to serve you all. We work hard to ensure that the military, veterans, and frontline workers have the support they need with us. That's why we are happily donating a free roof today to someone who's with us today. Can I get a drum roll, please? As our nation struggles to afford housing, heat, and food on the table, and a roof over one's head, we announce for the first time with our Roof for Heroes recipient, Navy veteran Robert Moreau. Please stand. He will be receiving a free roof from us. I gave him a call yesterday, and he said, wow, this is more than a loaf of bread. I don't know what to say. So we're really excited, and we're located in Beverly, but we service from York, Maine down to Plymouth, and I'm really excited to be able to do this for you. Thank you, sir.
Right here. There you are. Right here. Right here. We also we want to say thank you, and it's amazing. People don't know this, but it's amazing that veterans don't ask for help. And that's one thing we found as we started this program. We just simply don't know what veterans need because they're so quiet. They don't want to ask for help. They think they're imposing on people. But it's amazing how many business community members of all types have worked to assist our business community. We want to make a couple presentations and a couple announcements, and I have a couple speakers. We do expect a State Representative Zaharis to be here, but in the meantime, we also have some friends from the Exchange Club who have a banner presentation they're going to make in a little bit. But in the meantime, let me ask our speakers to come forward. And again, you'll see I had to separate them because I have 2 Marines and 1 Navy SEAL. And I didn't want the Navy SEAL to be sort of outnumbered, but...
I think we're outnumbered.
So please welcome John Howard. John is, and again, we are recognizing and as speakers who are not only veterans, but also who have contributed to the community and who have made contributions to the business community. Because we want to show everyone that it makes sense to hire a veteran, it makes sense to employ a veteran, it makes sense to use a veteran, and it makes sense to support a veteran. Again, men and women and their families. So please welcome our first speaker, John Howard. He is a Marine veteran, and he's also the president and CEO of the Merrimack Valley Credit Union. Please welcome John Howard.
Thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Congratulations on the new roof. That's outstanding. Makes me feel so guilty about the toasters we give out. But that is an outstanding. That's awesome. You know, people always tell us, thank you for your service. We hear it all the time. And we appreciate it. It feels good when we hear that. But truth be told, what I always think when I hear that is it should be us that's thanking you for the folks here, for example, that are not veterans, that are here supporting us. We're always getting support. We're always getting people that recognize in the current state, recognize our service, and it's such an honor. Another reason why I always feel I should thank other people is because what an honor it was and what a gift it was to all of us who are veterans to have had that opportunity to go through that life experience. Some of the greatest gifts we've had, the greatest friends we're ever going to meet were in the service. The greatest life experiences, the greatest things we've ever got to do and go places we've got to go see, we're able to do because of our time in the military. It's such an honor. For some of us, like myself, which I'd like to share with you, some of us learned secrets in life. I call them life hacks. And there's very few of them in this world, and some of them are so simple, but we just never know it. Or if we've heard it and know about it, we just don't believe it. We don't know what to do with it. So for myself personally, I've learned one of these life hacks that I'd love to share with you guys in hopes that you all can use it in your own life, or you can share it with your children, and hopefully they can understand it and believe it, and to use it for themselves. So when I started boot camp, when I went down to Parris Island, there was 66 people who started in my platoon with me. By the time we got out of boot camp, there was only 19 of those original 66 left. There were still a few more people in our platoon because we picked up some folks, but of that original 66, there was 19 left. So 3 days before we got out of boot camp, we're standing there, we stood on this line all the time in the squad bay. We're standing there for 4 hours at attention, which might sound like a lot right now because it would kill my back today. But back then, it was just what you did all the time. But what was different, we never stood. We were never alone for 4 hours. We were there for 4 hours just standing at attention. I often thought, why after I got out of service, all that, why were we there for 4 hours? Because I learned so much in that 4 hours. I'm so thankful for that 4 hours. But I always wondered why. And I always wondered if maybe they were just watching us from someplace to see if anybody would move, anybody would break discipline, and then whatever they would do would see. But nobody moved. We all stood there because by that time we were ready. So I'm standing there, and always looking straight ahead. And the first thing I realized as I'm standing there forever, I could see everybody in my platoon and in my peripheral vision. Your entire world happens in your peripheral vision when you're in boot camp because you're only allowed to look straight ahead. If you see something over here, you're never allowed to do that. You just never do it. You do it, maybe in the first week or two, but you learn real quick never to do that. So your whole life is right here, and whatever happens right here. And I realized I can see our entire platoon in our barracks. Normally I couldn't because they stretched all the way down to the full length of the squad bay, and you couldn't see everybody. So I'm standing there, and we're all in the upper third of the squad bay. And so that was the first realization. It's like, holy cow, I can see everybody. The second thing I realized was, holy cow, I made it. There's only 3 days left. They're not going to kick anybody out in 3 days, which wasn't true. One day before, this gentleman big guy from North Carolina, they kicked him out. They sent him home 1 day before we graduated, which I always was shocked with. I remember calling him when I got home, just saying, I am so sorry, because he definitely deserved to get there, but whatever happened, he didn't. So I'm standing there. So that was the second realization was, oh my gosh, I made it. But then the third realization was, wait a minute, how did I make it? I mean, I am not the biggest guy. There were some big people there. I wasn't the strongest guy. There were some guys in such shape. I wasn't nothing like that. I wasn't the meanest guy by far. I'm extremely fast to laugh, fast to smile, fast to be happy, which never is good at Paris Island. Never accepted. It was not a good thing. Just a little sidetrack story. How I got myself to stop smiling was because I was constantly getting screamed at because I couldn't help. You laugh fast, just like when you laugh and you get laugh and you're like, you're trying like heck to not laugh and they're screaming at you. So I learned real quickly, I'm going to get kicked out if I keep doing this. They made it clear that was not going to be okay if I kept doing this. So what I would do is I'd suck my cheeks in, just the one cheek, like that kind of thing, but just this side. I'd suck it in, and I'd get my teeth around my cheek like that, and I would just start to bite down until it got painful enough that the smile would just get off my face. And sometimes there was things that happened so funny. I mean, somebody just screwed up somewhere. You're just like, you just want to die. My teeth would just grind against each other, the upper and lower teeth, just to stop myself from smiling and laughing. And I'm not the only one who probably has that kind of story. I remember when I went home, I told that story to my folks. And I showed them the inside of my cheek was just a chewed, bloody, raw piece of meat at that point. My mother darn near fainted, and my father was so proud of me. I did whatever I had to do to get the job done. But we had four hours to stand there, and I had a lot of time to think about it. And I started thinking through the Marine Corps experiences, the why people didn't make it. And I thought about receiving, which receiving sucked. Quite frankly, it was a place where you get your head shaved and you get all your gear and stuff, but it was a place where they just mess with you the entire time. It's a lot of free time in the sense that they can mess with you, but they're just issuing gear and getting you ready, medical checks and things like that. There was no sleep in there, and I remember my father before I left, he told me, he said, the most important lesson that I can teach you when you go here is just don't let them know your name. Just try to get through boot camp without them ever knowing your name. I'll never forget that very first day I'm standing there. I remember the building I was in, drill instructor screaming at me, and he goes, "What's your name?" "Howard, sir!" That was it. I was screwed. Every time, no matter what happened, like somebody else screwed up, they'd say, "Get up on the quarterdeck. Howard! Where's Howard? Get up there!" And just scream at you. And every time somebody was in trouble, I was right with them. Howard, Howard, Howard. Everybody knew my name because no matter what it was, Howard, just in the middle of things, stop, give me 50. It was just constant messing because they learned my name. So I was screwed right from the start. So luckily, you don't have the same drill instructors when you go through the receiving drill instructors are different than the full drill instructors. And so we get to meet the first day of real boot camp when you have your real drill instructors there, and there's 4 drill instructors. And it's chaos, it's terror, it's chaos, it's hell. It's just like there's racks getting thrown all over the place, foot lockers getting thrown all over the place. They're just screaming at you left and right, and it's pure chaos for a day. You don't really know what's going on. You're trying to get your bearings. So at one point we had to dump our sea bags. So we're going to do an inventory of what's in the sea bags to make sure when we left receiving we have everything we need throughout the rest of boot camp. And nothing happens in the military for all the veterans here. Notice nothing happens quick. Everything in the Marine Corps boot camp, for example, is one step at a time. You don't just say, go back and dump your sea bag. It's one step. They say, no, when I tell you to, you're going to take 3 steps backwards. You're not going to take 2 steps. You're not going to take 4 steps. You're going to take 3 steps backwards. And then they say, do you understand? Yes, sir. Do you understand? Yes, sir. You say that for 20 times. So then he says, okay, when I tell you to move, you're going to take 3 steps backward. Do it now, move. So you take 3 steps backwards, right? Well, lo and behold, there's always somebody who turns and takes forward 2-3 steps backwards, and then next thing you know, everybody's on the quarterdeck climbing and doing everything that they got to be doing to get disciplined. So by the time we actually empty the sea bags, it's an hour later. So I'll just fast forward through the hour of things that they do to you in that process, but we're at the point of emptying my sea bag, all of us, and they said empty it in a rack, so I turn my sea bag over and nothing comes out. And I'm looking in front of me and I see all down the line, all the stuff's coming out of the sea bag. I had packed mine so tight, trying to get everything in there, it was like cement. Nothing was coming. I'm like, immediate panic down my body. And I'm dragging the sea bag up and down, nothing comes out. So nothing's on your time once again in boot camp. They tell you, it's all countdown. They count down from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're done, stop moving. They always say the Marine Corps, you're not the smartest of the 5 services. I think it might be true there because the drill instructors never knew how to count. Everything was 10, 9, 6, 4, you're done. I remember the first time they did that, and I'm like, what happened to 3, 2, and 1? Geez, where did it go? I need more time. I couldn't get it out, so I'm like, I've stopped, I just freeze where I am. Everybody else is online, I'm stuck there. The drill instructor flies over to me, scream, get online. I get online. And 4 drill instructors are all around me. One's screaming on my face, spitting all over me. Another one's in my right ear screaming, spitting. Left ear screaming, spitting. Behind me screaming, spitting. I see nodding heads here, people that definitely went through the experience. And they're screaming, and lo and behold, that drill instructor in front of me says, "What's your name?" "Anderson, sir!" I was, fool me once. I wasn't saying Howard twice. But, seriously, it was like that every day, all day. And when you woke up till you went to sleep, it was like that. At nighttime, there was always guys left and right down to squad bay or something that were crying and sobbing. And just, this is a whole new experience for some folks as well, everybody, quite frankly. There were some folks who tried to hurt themselves. They took their Bic shavers and broke them apart and tried to cut themselves. And that happened to 4 or 5 guys, believe it or not. And every morning, every night, it just never ended. In the Marine Corps, it's broken into 3 phases, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. The idea around it is phase 1's the toughest, and they tried to weed folks out. Phase 2 is, it gets a little bit easier, they start teaching you skills. Phase 3, they teach you, it gets even easier, and they teach you more skills. I never experienced that. I don't know about the other Marines here, but I never experienced that. They didn't start treating us like humans until one day before we graduated, like in the afternoon before graduation day. It was always the same. It never changed. For me, that was the most demoralizing part because I went through thinking, okay, all I got to do is get to phase 4, phase 2. Then all I got to do is get to phase 3. It never got better. And so for me, that was part of my downest, saddest moments or deepest, darkest moments. So now getting to the point, the lesson in life. So as I went through this process, it helped me to understand why a lot of people didn't make it through, whether they got sent home or just sent backwards. But it still didn't answer why I made it when so many of their extremely capable people didn't make it with those original 66. And I kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And then at 18 years old, I learned the greatest life hack I could have ever been blessed to learn. And I've used it. My family has used it. I've used it throughout my entire life, personal objectives, career. And that is what I realized was the only reason why I made it through Marine Corps boot camp when so many other extremely capable people didn't. And I'm sure they're very successful in life. It wasn't their stand with all, but this just wasn't their thing. Was because I wanted to be a Marine my entire life. Since childhood, I wanted to be a Marine. That's all I ever wanted to do. I grew up telling other kids I was going to be a Marine. When we graduated high school, they said, what college are you going to? I'm going to Paris Island. I'm not going to any college. I was so excited to go and be a Marine. When I got there, I was exactly where I wanted to be. I had mentally prepared myself for this, even though I was not mentally prepared at all for this. But I had mentally prepared myself. This is what I wanted. I've never lost sight of what I wanted there. There was a lot of other guys, I'm sure they said, and gals as well, but in my case, guys, so we're all surrounded by guys. I'm sure they said, you know what? They graduate in high school. What do I want to do? I know. I'll join the Marine Corps. That's cool. But it's not cool. I mean, it's cool afterwards, but before it really sucks. And you got to get through the suck part to get to the fun part. And so if you don't really want it, it's just not going to happen. Joe Farrow, who's the entrepreneur, very successful entrepreneur, who's building Tuscan Village. He has these things called the 3 Ps. He believes in success. Everything in success is 3 Ps. First, you have to have passion. Second, you have to have patience to see it through. Third, you have to have persistence to fight through the obstacles. And I totally agree with him. But I think it's even simpler than that. what everybody here and your children, anybody you know, if you can help them to understand this, all you have to do is just step back and just think. Think hard about what is it you really, really want in life. Things that you just never let go of. You can let go of it in 2 weeks. You don't need to write it down because 2 weeks later or 2 days later, it's going to pop back in your head again. You're like, I want to do this. You really want it, and you never let it go. So many people have that thought, and they never do anything with it because they don't believe they can do anything with it. But if you want something that bad, you will naturally have the passion. You will naturally have it. The passion's the easiest part because we all have passion. I wanted to be a black belt at one time. A lot of passion, definitely not the persistence and the patience to get through it. There's a lot of things that we want, but we don't really want it. We're not willing to spend the energy and the sacrifice that you got to give to really get it. But everything you really want, I don't care who it is, doesn't matter what size you are in life, doesn't matter how smart you are or not smart, doesn't matter how big you are or not big, doesn't matter what environment you came from or didn't come from. Every one of us has the capability of getting anything we want. Because if you want it, you're naturally going to have the passion, and it'll stay with you. If you want it so badly, you're naturally going to have the patience to see it through. If you want something so badly, you're going to have the persistence to fight through every obstacle. If you don't, you'll have the passion maybe for a little while. The patience is going to subside after a week or 2 or 3 or somewhere in that range. And the persistence is going to fail because after the first or second obstacle, third obstacle, you're going to be like, this just isn't worth it. And all that really means is you didn't really want it. So now for myself, what I say, the test that I use before I start investing my time in things like this, is I give myself that thought. Okay, I'm passionate about this. I like weapons. I was going to be a gunsmith. And I said, okay, I'm passionate about being a gunsmith. Do I have the patience to do all the work that I'm going to have to do to be effective at it? So I can repair these things and do that as a little side hobby? Or do I have the persistence to go through all the obstacles? To be honest, I don't. So I never really did anything with it. But I didn't do anything with it on purpose because I knew I wouldn't have the 3 Ps to continue forward. But if you really want it, and you really want it, you will have the passion. You will have it. It'll stay with you. You'll have the patience. It'll stay with you because you can't help it. It's what you really want. And you'll have the persistence. The only thing you got to do is 2 things. One, and your family, figure out what that is, and then just take that first step. Just do it. Don't have lack of don't have lack of confidence or self-doubt. You can do it. If you really want it, you'll see it through. So take the first step and do it, and teach your kids that same thing. It's the greatest lesson in my life, and it's made everything I really want in my life to come true. And it's just all the everything that I learned at 18 years old. So I hope that helps, and that's my way of hoping to share something with you that was a life hack that I learned, and I hope it's a hack that you can use yourselves. Thanks, everybody.
That was brilliant. Thank you, John. As you were speaking, I was thinking of my father. My father was an Army veteran, fought under MacArthur, was in the Red Arrow Division, and never really spoke about the war. Always kept saying to me, I hope you never have to go. But one thing I learned growing up was that my father had the idea of persistence, as you talked about, John. And that was the key, and I think that's what's helped me get to wherever I am today. But I want to say thank you to John Howard. Give him another round of applause. Our next speaker is another Marine, Cal Williams, a former UPS, lifelong employee at the HR division. Then he retired, and Cal couldn't stop, and so he went back to work. He's now the United Way Merrimack Valley Director, and he's also a member of our Chamber Executive Committee. Please welcome Cal Williams.
Morning, Merrimack Valley. How we doing? Okay, happy Veterans Day. And one of the reasons why I can't stop, one of the lifelong lessons I learned in the Marine Corps is hard to hit a moving target, so I keep moving. So that's the reason. And also, John didn't share with you, when we standing there for those 4 or 5 hours, the sandflies would sit there and they would bite the hell out of you. So anyone that's been to Paris Island would love that opportunity to stand there. Right, John? Okay. Veterans Day. Okay. I'm the senior director for United Way, and I do a lot of youth programs. And there's always a conversation always come up as what is a veteran and what it takes to be a veteran. And I just want to just share this with you. Veterans Day is distinct from Memorial Day. Veterans Day celebrates the service of all U.S. military veterans, while Memorial Day honors those who have died or fallen in military service. What considers you as a veteran? Title 38 of Code of Federal Regulations define a veteran as a person who served in the active military, naval, or air service and who was discharged or released under conditions other than dishonorable. This definition explains that any individual that completed a service of any branch, a veteran. One day a year out of 365 to honor our veterans of our armed forces. But if you're a veteran, every day is Veterans Day. Not only veterans, but also their family members. So I just want to keep it short and sweet this morning, but to all my veteran brotherhoods, congratulations on the job well done, and welcome back home. Thank you.
Thank you, Cal. And one thing Cal doesn't tell you is the secret to Cal's success is his wife. They've been married 52 years?
7.
It's 57 years. Give him a round of applause for that. So I want to introduce a very, very special guest. State Representative Zaharis is a Gold Star father. His son, unfortunately, was killed in Afghanistan. He heard about what the chamber was doing and called me and said, I have something I want to talk about. And I said, absolutely. So please welcome a Gold Star father, State Representative Zaharis from the Cape. The family's not here, but we're going to have the two people. So when you're ready to make the presentation.
Wonderful. Wow.
Mike, I'll call you up in a minute.
Thank you. Wow. It's a wonderful Marine right there. Thank you for having me. It's been quite a trip to get here, and it's a beautiful building. Special time of the year, Veterans Day, coming up. And I thought I'd tell you just a quick story about my life. I'm the son of a veteran, I'm the grandson of a veteran, and I'm the Gold Star father of one that didn't come home. When I heard what you were doing today, I have a special presentation that I will give to you for the family. But I was a police officer for 40 years. I wore a gun and a badge and body armor. I went to work with heroes every day. One of my officers was shot and killed in the line of duty, and our dog, Nero, was shot in the head. And no one would help the dog because it was illegal to help a police dog. That was 4 years ago. I left the job that I loved and ran for office as a Republican in Massachusetts and worked hard, and we won. And I'm in my second year, and I'm very proud. And my mission was to get tougher on criminals, which we've done, and we still need to do more, but also to never let that happen to a police dog again. So we created the Nero bill, we worked hard, and now it is Nero law in Massachusetts, where if a police dog is injured in the line of duty, they have the right to be given first aid, put into an ambulance, and brought to the closest hospital. And that's what happens. Let's hope it never happens again. But Massachusetts has made national history, and I'm proud to be part of that. Sometimes in life, when horrible things happen, you use the 3 Ps. I listened to what you said. And you try to overcome horrible loss. On July 23rd, 2009, we got that horrible news that our son, my son, had lost his life in Afghanistan. The Marines had come to the police station to tell them they need help to go to a family in Yarmouth to give them the news. They didn't realize that that's where I worked. And they called me to come to the police station, and that's when I was given that horrible news that my son had been killed in Afghanistan, trying to save his Marines. And some type of horrible noise came out of my body. My brothers in blue picked me off the floor. And then I had to go and tell my family. So chaplains and ambulances and police officers, firefighters, we all went to my home. And we got in the driveway. We all got out. We walked towards the house. And I said, you wait here, because it's my job to tell my family. And when I got to that front door and I looked in that door, I saw my wife, I saw my son Alex with his buddies, and I saw my twin daughters, Elizabeth and Ashlyn, all through the front glass. And I waited to go in, because I knew once I went in, I would break their hearts. But I persevered, I pushed through the door, I gave them the news, and here we are 13 years later. So we've done the best we can to overcome a tragedy. We live our lives serving others. Nick's last words to us, he screamed into the phone and from Afghanistan, he said, "Don't worry about me, I'm living the dream." And then he came to us, home to us about 3 weeks later in a flag-draped coffin. So nobody better take a knee in front of the flag or to the national anthem. You should never do that. Thank you. So if you do see that happening, educate that person. It's a horrible thing to do. It hurts my family and it hurts Gold Star families like mine. The flag means everything to me. You know, I serve in government. I'm very proud to do that. But I lead with my heart. I have a heart of a servant and the mind of a warrior. You know, I raised the United States Marine, infantry, assaultman. And he told me stories like you said in boot camp. It's horrible. And when you earn that title, it's special. So before I have this special award that I'd like to give to the family representative, that's what we do as Gold Star families. When I heard the news about Johanny, you know, it broke my heart again. So I came to Lawrence and I went to the funeral and I looked that mother in the eyes. And even though she couldn't understand what I was saying because of a language barrier, she knew. So I wear my Gold Star pin, which is the parents' Purple Heart. I wear my son's picture, Nicholas, and today I wear Johanny's picture because we are family. And I told her I would be back. But before I present this, I'd like to just spend one more minute on the flag. You know, I wore it on my uniform for 40 years. You have all of you veterans in the room serve, and you know what the flag means, and I want to let you know a little bit more. And this is a poem that I did not write, but the words are powerful, especially for Veterans Day weekend. It's called "My Name is Old Glory. I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over great institutes of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military power in the world. Look up. See me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I'm confident. I'm arrogant. I am proud. When I'm flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little higher. My color's a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshiped. I am saluted. I am respected. I am revered. I am loved. and I am feared. I have fought every battle of every war for more than 200 years. Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, the beaches of Normandy, the deserts of Africa, the cane fields of the Philippines, the rice paddies and jungles of Guam, Okinawa, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, and scores of places long forgotten by those, all but by those who were there with me. I was there. I led my soldiers. I followed them. I watched over them. They loved me. I was on a small hill in Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-worn, and tired, but my Marines cheered me, and I was proud. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of country I have set free. It does not hurt, because I am invincible. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of my own country. And when it is by those who I have served in battle with, it hurts. But I shall overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the bonds of earth and stand watch over uncharted new frontiers of space from my vantage point on the moon. I have been a silent witness to all of our finest hours, but when my finest hour comes is when I'm torn into strips to be used by bandages for my wounded comrades on the field of battle. Or when I fly at half-mast to honor my fallen soldiers, and when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving father at the graveside of his fallen son. I am proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wave. Thank you.
Jamie, come here. Can I ask the Lawrence Veteran Service Agent, and you see this one? Joe, get some pictures.
God bless you. This is amazing.
Jamie Melendez is the City of Lawrence Veteran Service Agent.
So on Cape Cod, in the 5th Barnstable District, which I represent, we call it the Fighting Fifth. A veteran and his wife made 13 quilts for the 13 fallen when we left Afghanistan. And they didn't know, they mailed 12 all over the country. And they said, Steve, do you know this family? And I said, yes, I do. So we saved it. And instead of mailing it, we're hand delivering it to you. And if you don't mind, if you could open it and you could show everybody, thank you.
When you get done, sit right there, okay? And you all know Francisco Urena, the former Massachusetts Secretary
Right
of
here.
Services and the City of
US
Lawrence. And a Marine.
Yeah, so
Look at that.
for Sergeant Johanny Rosario Pichardo, United States Marine Corps. Semper Fi. Thank you, Senator.
I think he deserves another round of applause, everyone. I think there's a card that goes with it. You know, it's amazing, the network of veterans. When the representative called me and he told me the story of his son, I never forgot it. And we exchange emails back and forth, and I just say to myself over and over and over again, how do you go on? And the story is just absolutely amazing. We're going to make an announcement about your son in a minute after you have a presentation by the Haverhill Exchange Club. The Haverhill Exchange Club began a program called Hometown Heroes. And for so many years, veterans were never respected. For so many years, veterans were never given the recognition I believe that they do, both men and women, in the veterans' families. Well, Haverhill Exchange Club changed that. And Jennifer, whose husband is a career military individual, and Thayer, headed up this program called Hometown Heroes. So if you drive through downtown Haverhill, you'll see banners on light poles of veterans. Unfortunately, some are also Gold Star banners. The Chamber sponsored, I think, one or two or three Gold Star banners. They did one of the banners for Sergeant Johanny. So I'd like to ask my good friend Francisco Urena and Mike Sullivan, the chairman, to come forward, because she has the banner. You have the banner, and we're going to present it to you two for you to give to the family. So come forward, please. Please welcome Jennifer and Thayer from the Haverhill Exchange Club. We'll announce it after, okay? So if you tell us what the program is and unveil the banner, and they can take it with them.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having us here. I'm Jennifer Matthews. This is Thea Cigars from the Haverhill Exchange Club. We are incredibly proud of our Hometown Heroes program. As Jill mentioned, my husband is active duty military. Thea has military members in her family, her uncle Arthur, who was honored this year in our program. It has been such a privilege to work with our committee to honor Haverhill and the Merrimack Valley's military heroes, past and present. It has been one of the greatest privileges of our lives to meet these families. We've learned the stories. So you see a banner, you see faces, and families are proud, but we've gotten to know, people have invited us into their homes, into their hearts. We know all of these faces. We know the stories. It has been such an honor. So thank you. Thank you to our veterans in the room. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your service. And thank you to our families. And we are really proud to be able to honor Johanny as part of our Hometown Heroes program. So we have a banner that...
Unveil the banner.
Yes. And the Merrimack Valley Chamber sponsored this banner. It's beautiful. We also have a mini plaque that can be displayed inside of her mom's home. That is a replica of the banner, and then also gives some information about the Gold Star family. So we are really proud of this. Thank you.
Thank you. What branch is your husband in?
Army.
Oh, Army. That's in Valley.
Infantry.
So you'll present that to the family if you wish.
Sure. That's super.
Thank you so
much. Great job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to the Haverhill. How many banners have you this year?
157.
157, and this is only the second year, correct? And growing. And there were how many Gold Star banners? About seven? Seven.
Yeah.
Representative, come here. Don't leave. Come here. I have been touched by your story. The Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce will sponsor a Hometown Hero banner for your son for 2003. You just need to get us a photo, and you'll send me the information, but we will post a banner in your son's memory because of your memory, and we want to say thank you. Absolutely. All right? You know, the story goes on, and unfortunately, some of it is not that positive. But at the same time, we want to recognize veterans. The Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce created an award, the Sergeant Johanny Award, to present to a veteran who not only served the country, created a business, worked in a business, and also worked in the community. The first year was presented to Bob Brown of Broco Oil, now called Broco Energy. Bob's company, when there is a natural disaster, whether it be in Texas or Florida or anywhere in the country, his company is the one that's called by the United States government to go down, provide emergency fuel assistance to the generators that power the hospitals, to power all the other necessary activities. And you've seen his trucks, they're decorated with the American flag, representative, and they're literally all over the country serving people. At the conclusion of last year's program, This year's recipient was selected. I don't think we told them, though, but the committee selected the recipient at the conclusion of last year's program, about the same time this year. Getting kind of old to bend down here. I would ask Cal Williams and John Howard and Mike Sullivan to come forward and make the presentation to this year's recipient, who I think found out yesterday that he was the recipient of this year's award. Let me read it to you. So if you all come forward a little bit. The United States Marine Corps Sergeant Johanny Rosario Pachata Memorial Award presented to, and they're going to tell you who it is, from the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce. So, Mr. Chairman, if you would announce the recipient, and then we'll hear some words from him. Again, he found out yesterday. So if you would.
So the United States Marine Corps Sergeant Johanny Rosario Picado Memorial Award is presented to Mr. Salvatore DeFranco, right here. Navy SEAL and veteran.
Oh, boy. This is incredibly meaningful. It is. It really is. It really, really is. I'm honored to be up here to receive this in front of friends, family, fellow veterans, and Johanny's family. In today's day and age, I think that the word hero gets thrown around a lot, pretty freely in the media. I think you have movies and TVs with people flying around with capes and shooting lasers, and a lot of people think that that's what a hero is. But that's not what a hero is. In the real world, a hero's superpower is their ability to inspire and their willingness to sacrifice. And I think we can all agree that Johanny inspires. She inspires me every day, not just to be a better veteran, but to be a better person, to be a better husband. And that's legacy. That is heroism. And I think we can all agree that she inspires all of us. And I am so proud to receive this award, be a part of this organization, and continue to do what I can for the veteran community and my community as a whole. So thank you very much. I did just find out about this last night. I was shocked. My wife can keep a secret, that's for sure. But thank you so much. This is so meaningful.
We're going to ask your wife to come up here for a minute because, Dana, this is Dana DeFranco is the co-owner of Battlegrounds Coffee Company, and one of the reasons why we've asked Dana to come forward is because of the fact that we recognize the contributing role, the important role of the family of a veteran. And one of the initiatives that they brought forward was a coffee with a veteran at their coffee station. They're always supporting veteran initiatives. They're always supporting individuals who need assistance. They've done clothing drives for veterans. The sock
That's right.
box.
Yep.
I mean, they literally, people come into their store and they donated socks and other clothing items. Whatever veterans need, they're there helping. And again, it's a family effort, both in their Haverhill and their Newburyport store. So we want to say thank you to you, Dana, as well. All right? Congratulations. Thank you. You want to say a few words? You want to say a few words as a veteran spouse?
Well, as a veteran.
Oh, and by the way, Dana's family is a history of veterans, correct? Your uncle was a Green Beret. Mm-hmm. Your grandfather was in the World War II. So it's a history of veteran service.
Well, I think everyone in this room and we're blessed to live in an area where we support our veterans. And I thank every one of you for doing just that, because it's so meaningful for not just my husband, but for myself, because I am so, to the depth of my core, proud of my husband, but all veterans. I get teary this time of year because the flag, I'm so passionate about it. That poem you read, I feel it in my soul because I love our country and I love our veterans. And so it's not just Veterans Day that this is so meaningful to me, it's every day. And I know that we live in a community that feels the same way I do. And I'm just so proud of everybody. So happy Veterans Day. Congratulations. And thank you to the Chamber.
And when Dana tells you that she cares about the flag, let me tell you that since she's opened her store, my wife's grandfather owned a shop in downtown Haverhill, and he had a 75-year-old flag, American flag, with an eagle, and it's been posted in her store ever since then. And then when they opened Newburyport, for whatever reason, someone tore their flag down that was hung outside the building, and they literally went right back to work to put it back up, and it's been there ever since, and they care deeply about veterans, as all of you. I just want to say thank you. We can't do enough to assist our veterans. That's why the Chamber has a continual program to have veterans assistance. We made a special banner so that you recognize that we care deeply about our veterans, and we do this program complimentary every year. I want to tell you that next year's recipient has already been selected. So when you hear he or she does not know who it is, but he'll find out or she'll find out the day before, like this one. But we want to say thank you. Representative, I don't know what to say. When you first called me, I had no idea, and then you and I exchanged so many emails, and I got to learn more about your son and checked online, and so we will have for you a Hometown Hero banner for your son, and we'll let you know when that's posted. There is a ceremony that's held in the city of Haverhill. The Gold Star families are treated with utmost respect. We'll make sure that you get notified of that. So if you give me one of your cards again before you leave, we want to pass that on. And we want to say thank you to every veteran. Those that are here today, those that are working, those unfortunately that never came back, and unfortunately those that will be going into service, because the world is getting crazier and crazier, it seems like. But one thing that is sure, and that is the importance of our veterans. And I urge you to help a veteran, hire a veteran, work with a veteran, employ a veteran. We think that's very, very important. And we're here to help you, whatever we can do. We want to say thank you again to the veteran service agents that are in the room, because you help them each and every day. We want to say thank you to the businesses that have helped each and every veteran. We want to say thank you to the sheriff and the honor guard, because we know you care deeply, Sheriff, about our veterans, and to our elected officials who have been very, very supportive. And we want to say thank you to our sponsors, because, again, they make this program possible. And, again, I want to say thank you to the Merrimack Valley Credit Union, to our Coastal Industries, Windows and Exteriors, and to our friends at Norwood. You can't miss their banner down there. But I also want to say thank you again to a very special friend who over the years has always worked with the Chamber going back, I can't remember how many years, Francisco Urena. He was the Lawrence Veterans Director, and then he became the State Director, and while he was at the State, we were always communicating about veterans. He was never, ever, ever failing to help us. Give him another round of applause. Thank you to the Haverhill Exchange Club for what you do, the Hometown Hero banner. I know it's going to grow again. Luckily, we've got a huge number of polls in the city, so I know you can continue to expand it. But again, it shows you what people do and people care about, with initiatives. And we want to say thank you to our panel. First of all, to John Howard. Give him a round of applause. Fantastic. Cal Williams. Cal, congratulations. Mike Sullivan. Again, Mike literally, when Mike called me about an idea, and he said, we're going to rehab a house, the Chamber actually does build a house under its Greater Lawrence Revolving Loan Fund program, which Michael's mother actually was a member of for 40 years, and it's sold on the open market. But he said, we're going to rehab a house. And we went to see the house, and I said, oh, my God, this is in terrible shape. And he told me who it was for. He said, absolutely, we're going to do it. And we created that program, Michael, and it shows you how people care about, someone that is no longer here. And we want to say thank you to all the donors who have made that Gold Star home possible. And as Michael mentioned, very shortly they'll be in the home, and that'll fulfill the dream of the sergeant, for a family to have a house. But again, and I just can't get out of my head though, Michael, when her mother literally looks to her side and is happy and then sad because her daughter's not there with her. And it's something that I think, Representative, you go through each and every day. I want to say thank you to all of you for being part of our Veterans Program. We hope that you have a great day and you always remember veterans. So thank you all.